Hello, everybody, and welcome to day 3 of week 10. We're continuing our way through the Gospel of Luke. This is Luke, it's going to be Luke chapter 5, verses 12 through 26. So, after Jesus calls the first 4 disciples, the ones named are actually 3, Simon, James, and John, but Simon, it turns out, is actually our friend Peter that we see later, and his brother, who isn't named, is Andrew. The 4 of them followed Jesus from this point. Simon, Andrew, James, and John. After he calls them away from their fishing boats, the story goes on to tell of 2 miracles that Jesus does. He heals a man with a horrible skin disease, and then he raises a paralyzed man from his bed and gives him strength to walk, and even to carry his bed home with him. And before he heals him, he does something else. So let's watch and see what he does. Verse 12. Once, when he was in one of the cities, there was a man covered with leprosy. When he saw Jesus, he bowed with his face to the ground and begged him, "Lord, if you choose, you can make me clean." Then Jesus stretched out his hand, touched him, and said, "I do choose. Be made clean." Immediately the leprosy left him, and he ordered him to tell no one. "Go," he said, "and show yourself to the priest, as Moses commanded. Make an offering for your cleansing, for a testimony to them." But now, more than ever, the word about Jesus spread abroad. Many crowds would gather to hear him and to be cured of their diseases. But he would withdraw to deserted places and pray. One day, while he was teaching, Pharisees and teachers of the law were sitting nearby. They had come from every village of Galilee and Judea and from Jerusalem, and the power of the Lord was with him to heal. Just then some men came, carrying a paralyzed man on a bed. They were trying to bring him in and lay him before Jesus, but finding no way to bring him in because of the crowd, they went up on the roof and let him down with his bed through the tiles into the middle of the crowd in front of Jesus. When he saw their faith, he said, "Friend, your sins are forgiven you." Then the scribes and the Pharisees began to question, "Who is this who is speaking blasphemies? Who can forgive sins but God alone?" When Jesus perceived their questionings, he answered them, "Why do you raise such questions in your hearts? Which is easier, to say, 'Your sins are forgiven you,' or to say, 'Stand up and walk'? But so that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins," he then said to the one who was paralyzed, "I say to you, stand up and take your bed and go to your home." Immediately he stood up before them, took what he had been lying on, and went to his home, glorifying God. Amazement seized all of them, and they glorified God and were filled with awe, saying, "We have seen strange things today." Now, a couple thoughts. First, what's that thing that Jesus did before he actually told the man to stand up and carry his bed away? Well, he forgave his sins, and he got in trouble for that with the Pharisees and the teachers of the law. Now, we can understand 2 things from this. First of all, Jesus decided to make right what was wrong with this man. So he dealt first with the bigger issue. He forgave his sins, and then he healed his weak legs, his paralysis as well. Second, in doing it this way, he showed his power. The Pharisees said, "Well, it's easy to say your sins are forgiven. You're not allowed to. You're not supposed to. You don't have the authority. Only God has that authority." But it's an easy thing to say, which is why they criticized him for blasphemy. To tell someone to stand up when they're paralyzed and walk and carry their bed away, that's more difficult, because you sort of have to then prove, you can say it, but if he doesn't do it, then it's clear that you're just talking. But Jesus, in healing him, shows that he has both authority to heal, because he does, and authority to forgive sins, because only God can heal in that way with just a word. The other point we should understand here, and this is important, we see both the importance of faith, which is to say of trust in God. Both the man with the leprosy, the skin disease, and the man who was paralyzed, when they come to Jesus, what is said to Jesus is, I know you can do this. I know you're able to heal me. I'm asking you to do this. But in that request that Jesus will do that, in that belief that he is capable of doing that, there's also an implication that's really important. There's an acceptance of what his answer will be. They are casting themselves entirely on the mercy of God. They're not trying to tell him how much they deserve it. They don't come in and say, I've been a really nice person. I've, paid my taxes on time. I've always given to the poor. I've, always gone to bed on time and cleaned my room. And I've given bikes to poor children. They don't say any of that. All they say is, Lord, I know you can help me. Please help me. That's important. This is how we should approach God as well. Second thing, the paralyzed man doesn't actually say anything in this passage. We assume that in his mind and heart he agrees with his friends, but that's not necessarily, it need not be the case. It says that Jesus heals him because of his friends' faith. And if we want a picture of what it means to pray for someone that we love, how that works to heal them, how that works to help them, this is a beautiful picture. Because if we love someone and we see that they're struggling and we say to God, God, I know you can help them. Please do help them. I trust you to help them. I give my friend, I give my loved one to you. They're in your hands. Please help them. I know you can. This is what prayer is. And if we can come and pray for our loved ones when we approach God and say our prayers, if we can come in the same mind and heart as these friends of the paralyzed man, this is the right way to pray for people. And that is how it works. We see Jesus answering their prayers. So that's it for today, and that's it for this week. I'll see you all next week for week 11. God bless you.